Hi everyone, I'm Stan from Eagle Vision. I'm here with Peter Motalli. Peter, welcome.
G'day, Sam.
Now we've caught up with Peter a few times. His background has been quite varied over the last 30 years, coming from carpentry background through to doing multiple developments of townhouses and apartments. Peter over the last 5 years has spent a lot more time in land developments, and I really wanted to catch up with Peter and talk about these developments and what actually happens in there. And for our first episode, we'll talk about some of the background and the technical terms, I guess, around land developments. What are urban growth zones in Melbourne?
Oh, well, thanks for having me, Stan. So basically, there's a few terminologies that the people use in the Greenfield. So Greenfield, one aspect of Greenfield, what is it? Yep. Greenfield is basically a large parcel of land which you can develop into smaller lots or housing lots. Another terminology they use is englobo, which is the same sort of thing.
Right, okay. So, and what about the urban growth zones? What are they about?
Yeah, well, the urban growth zone, what that means is the Victorian government in Victoria actually controls the urban growth zone. So they're the lands that is going to be developed in the future. They've designated certain parts of land, saying that this is going to be rezoned into residential lots, which will means housing in the time to come. So in Victoria, we have 4 areas of that which they control, which is in the north, one in Sunbury, the southeast, and the west. And Geelong sort of controls their own sort of area down there. PSP is usually used a lot in the industry, in the Greenfield sort of englobo land. So what that means is principal structure plan. So what that means is something that's gone through the process of being rezoned, which is controlled by an authority called the VPA, Victorian Planning Authority. So they control this. So when they say PSP, they mean is the land PSP'd? Means it's been rezoned or going through rezoning from farming into residential land. ICP is Infrastructure Contributions Plan. So that means contributing monies to the authorities, which one of them is actually the councils, the local councils. So the process of once it's gone through PSP, it goes into the hands of the local council, local government, which controls the subdivision side of things, as well as other authorities like the water and sewerage and power and so forth.
For an average developer that has done some townhouses, maybe some apartments, where would be opportunities within those sort of growth zones?
Well, you've got in typical land, urban growth zones and land developers. So you've got the large developers who buy huge amounts of land, huge hectares, 100 hectares plus, and not everyone can do that obviously. So they're huge corporations, but you're finding that in the industry, and perhaps probably the last 5 years or so, that a lot of smaller developers, smaller investors are sort of buying up land like little hobby farms, only 30 acres, either in the urban growth zone or close to the urban growth zone boundaries. So they look at it as more of an investment, a long-term investment.
So, and something that they can do with their super fund, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly right. So something you want to sit there in a super fund for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, depending how old you are. So it's more of a long-term. And a lot of people are doing this, better returns. As you can see in Victoria, we've got a huge population growth that is happening here. And the urban growth boundaries will be adjusted to increase more land once land has been rezoned. So we need more land, more houses, more people.
How close do you need to consider being to one of the town centres? Is there anything around that?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be close when you're actually buying a sort of small farm, because in that huge PSP land, when it's been rezoned, the actual Victorian Planning Authority will designate a new town centre. So it's may not be there at the moment, but it will be a new shopping centre, schools, shops, all that sort of stuff.
That was it that we wanted to cover in this particular episode. Thanks so much for watching, and next time around we'll start to get more into some of the specifics.